Hi guys, so I'm not sure if you've come from my recent vlog, but I know it's all going to be delayed because I haven't even started editing anything yet. But basically I am on isolation at the minute, just a 7-day isolation, and I was just vlogging my day-to-day activities. So I believe I've got days 1 to 3 that I have decided to film. I'm not sure if I'm going to include any other clips of today in that one, but I wanted to do a separate weekend reading vlog for this series that I really wanted to start for a while, and it's the Wayward Children series by Sean Maguire. I've heard so much about these books, mainly from Riley Marie's channel, and it's funny, as I was saying in my last vlog, I was doing like my skincare and stuff, and I just put on her latest video, and it turned out it was a 24-hour reading vlog centered around these books. So I just halted on that because I didn't want to like spoil myself. I wasn't sure if she's going to go into spoilers or anything like that. So it's funny because I wanted to do a weekend vlog with these books, and then she had uploaded one. I just thought that was funny. So that's going to be like the main kind of focus on this next 3 days, I guess, of my isolation. So they are still like isolation vlogs. I'm just including that so you guys can find it easier, I guess, just to let you see that there's other things to do. Try to look on the bright side and the happy side. I'm going to be avoiding mentioning the current climate just because I know personally it fills me with anxiety, so I don't want to fill you guys with anxiety. So if you can come and find things that can distract you for a short moment in time, then hopefully, you know, I'm doing my job. That make me happy. So yeah, that's what this vlog's going to be about. I am currently reading Lolita by Vladimir Nabokov. I don't know if I pronounced that right at all, but this is a Penguin classic. It's a story I've been wanting to read for ages, but I'm going to halt on this for a while because it is one of those books that I know it's going to take me a while to read, just because it is quite disturbing in content, and the way it's written, it just feels older, and my brain needs time to sort of digest what it's been told. So yeah, I'm putting that on hold. I'm going to start these books. They're most likely going to be spoilery ones. I will try and warn you every time, but to be fair, I think I'm just going to be talking about spoilers full stop. So mainly, I guess, read this if you're reading along, or watch this if you're reading along, or maybe skip this out if you don't want to get spoiled. But yeah, so the first book is Every Heart Doorway, and it says, what happens after ever after? Together they walked across the property, the girl, the boy, and a dancing skeleton, wrapped in rainbows. Neither of those who still possessed tissue and tongue spoke. This was the closest thing L'Oreal would have to a funeral. Oh, now I feel bad. It would have been inappropriate to make light of it. They walked until they came to the place where the landscaping dropped away, replaced by tangle and weed, and the hard stretch of stony earth that had never been farmed or claimed as anything other than wilderness. Eleanor West owned it all. Of course, her family had owned the countryside for miles around, and now that she was the last, every inch of it belonged to her. She'd simply refused to sell or allow development on any of the lots surrounding her school. The local conservationists considered her a hero. The local capitalists considered her an enemy. Some of her greatest detractors said she acted like a woman with something to hide, and they were right in their way. She was a woman with something to protect. That made her more dangerous than they could ever have suspected. So I guess that's like a little insert of the beginning of the story, and I believe she's the lady that created this like boarding school for these children. So it says here that Eleanor West's home for wayward children. Okay, no solicitations, no visitors, no guests. Children have always disappeared under the right conditions, slipping through the shadows under a bed or at the back of the wardrobe, tumbling down rabbit holes and into old wells and emerging somewhere else. But magical lands have little need for used-up miracle children. Nancy tumbled once, but now she's back. The things she experienced, they change a person. The children under Mrs. West's care understand all too well, and each of them is seeking a way back to their own fantasy world. But Nancy's arrival marks a change at the home. There's darkness just around each corner, and when tragedy strikes, it's up to Nancy and her newfound schoolmates to get to the heart of things, no matter the cost. So I thought this was absolutely fascinating. This is what intrigued me to read it. Just, oh, it's beautiful. Look at that. Isn't it usually first editions that have embossed fronts? I don't know. But the fact that these are children that have been to magical worlds and come back and are kind of empty without those magical worlds. That's an interesting concept, because in my head, although for example Alice in Wonderland, there's this adventure going on, it's all wacky, it's all crazy, and that would fill me personally with anxiety, and I'd want to come back to the real world and kind of understand what happened, if it was real or not. But these people, these children are craving to go back to that world. I guess maybe they feel accepted and it's their own little piece of freedom or something, or maybe they've got some hard things going on in their real life. I don't know. So it'd be very interesting to find out how these stories developed. I believe, well, I might be wrong, but I feel like technically you can read these all as standalones, maybe. But then the bit in Riley Marie's video that I've just halted said that I think every other book is a prequel, maybe. So I don't know. I'll just have to learn and find out as we go along. So I will be updating you as the weekend progresses. There was a little girl. The girls were never present for the entrance interviews. Only their parents, their guardians, their confused siblings who wanted so much to help them, didn't know how. It would have been too hard on prospective students to sit there and listen as the people they loved most in all the world, all this world at least, dismissed their memories as delusions, their experiences of fantasy, their lives as some traceable illness. What's more, it would have damaged their ability to trust the school if their first experience with Eleanor had been seeing her dressed in respectable greys and lilacs, with her hair styled just so, that the kind of sounded so earnestly, so sincerely, that her school would help to cure the things that had gone wrong in the minds of all those lost little lambs. She could take the broken children and make it to the parents, she said, this is an illusion, and sometime away may help to cure it. To the aunts and uncles, she said, this is not your fault, and I could be the solution. To the grandparents, she said, spent her days giving them what she had never had, and hoped that someday it would be enough to pay the passage back to the place where she belonged. What world was she from? Eleanor? I'm trying to think, do we know her by a different name? I'm very excited, and that prologue, that beginning, very intrigued. Well, that was a line I didn't expect to read. Okay, definitely more adult than I was anticipating. Afternoon guys, so my hair looks alright state because I haven't fluffed it out from sleeping on it. I've just let it do its own thing. So I spent most of the morning on my computer. I was editing the first vlog that is up already now. If you're interested, I will link it in the cards, and then also just mucking about on my computer trying to sort out the sound situation, that if you'd watched that first vlog, you know I had messed up with my sound and it sounds robotic, and then I kind of this morning tricked myself to thinking it sounded normal, but it doesn't sound normal. It's very robotic, very echoey, and then I just sort of gave up on that. Not before looking up more gaming laptops, because I'm thinking I want to get a laptop instead of a computer. If any of you are interested in that sort of thing, I need some advice. I really think I want the Alienware M51, so Area 51M. Yeah, we got there in the end. Laptop is kind of like a desktop in a laptop, so it has two power banks. It's not very portable, but I don't really take my laptops, well, when I had a laptop before I didn't really take it anywhere other than my grandparents, and when I go to them now I visit them. I'm not going on laptops and stuff, if you know what I mean. But I don't know, it's just so much money, and I remember I'm still got kind of like a little voice in my head telling me not to do it, because before I built the computer that I've got now, I was going to get an Alienware laptop, but people were saying it's like you're just throwing money down the drain. But I don't know, some of these, I don't know a hell of a lot about specs and that, but some of them look really, like from the reviews and that, and the understanding that I have, very limited although it is, it just looks like something I would really enjoy. And I've just come to, like, not loathe, but it's more of a chore when I go to sit down at my computer, and it's just, yeah, I don't know, it's getting slow, it's getting old. I definitely need to upgrade, and I definitely need a laptop. It's just, what one will I get, or what one will I don't know. I just get very overwhelmed with these sort of things. But anyway, back to the actual matter at hand for this vlog. Every Heart a Dog Away. So I'm still reading this. For some reason last night we ended up going to bed at like 8:30, and then we woke up randomly, like middle time, quite a few times in the night, and then at like 5 AM we woke up and had dinner. Make that make sense, I don't know. So I could have finished this in a day. It's one of those books that people do read as like a 24-hour readathon thing, but I just didn't. So I'm hoping to finish this today. I'm reading it off and on, doing bits and bobs that I've been doing today, and then hopefully I'll crack on with the second book. But so far I'm really enjoying it. We've had our first murder now. Looking back on it, I'm shocked at who it was, but the actual realisation of someone being murdered didn't shock me, which is strange. Although consciously I'd forgotten that there was going to be a murder in this. Subconsciously I must have known, because it didn't like shock me, which is kind of weird, but I am still really, really loving it so far. It's just so whimsical but also realistic. Interesting blend, I know.
start to think, oh, the whole closest starts to end up on the brink. I tried so hard, but all these scars, they cut so deep, I bleed. I fell so fast from heaven, it's like someone clipped my wings. Now I'm falling, and I can't see the ground. Can we stop this gravity? It keeps bringing me down. I can't breathe, and I don't wanna die. Can we stop this gravity? 'Cause I don't wanna say goodbye.
Okay, I know you can hear that music. I am sorry. Partner is in the bathroom getting his jam on. But just an actual spoiler that I want to mention. So if you don't want to know any real spoilery bits, then skip a little bit. But they've now accused Jack of murdering, which is really cool. I wasn't expecting a Jacqueline and Gillian from Jack and Jill. That's really interesting perspective. I was kind of honestly in that stereotypical mind of Jack a boy, Jill a girl, but I really like what they're doing with this. But people are now accusing Jack of murdering Sumi for her like weird morbid kind of experiments, and this girl's just dumped soup all over her and they're laughing and stuff, and I'm thinking, why would you provoke someone that you think's a murderer when you think they're that dangerous? Surely they would come for you next. I don't think she's killed Sumi at this point in time, but why would you provoke that anyway? Silly. So I just had a break from reading, I just had a bath. I'm currently watching the lovely Reading with Mo on YouTube on my telly. I've recently managed to sync it up on my telly and I am loving watching it. Because beforehand it was having like my regular Gmail account, so I didn't have all my subscriptions and stuff, but I managed to put my like, I think they call it brand account on here, so all my subscriptions and everything is available on the telly on YouTube. So watching the lovely Reading with Mo and watching her Friday reads, and I was just putting away some of the dry clothes that was hanging up. Oh, my granddad's calling me. I will call him back in just a moment. But there's another death now and it's worrying me because like now I'm realising how short these books are. I wonder, will it go over into the next book? Because in my head I had it like they were standalones technically but compiled together, so now I don't know, like, will they wrap it up in just this short amount? I will find out. So I am super slow to pick up on Cade's situation. When they described him as a beautiful boy, I just thought he was a beautiful boy, which he is, but now I think I understand like the gender dysphoria and the gender issues surrounding him, if I'm right in saying, because like, I don't know how I missed it, but is he biologically female? Is that correct? And then when he went into the fairy world, he was his true self as a boy and they found out? Or I don't know if maybe I'm still not getting it. Or is, because he's just mentioned his parents said if he put on a pretty skirt or whatever and got them to call him Katie, they'd welcome him with open arms. So are they just dressing him up as a girl? I think it's the prior one. I don't mean for this to sound insensitive at all, but I feel like I've missed. I'm trying to go back to try and read like in between the lines where I might have just missed it, but I think the prior suggestion is correct. Am I right? I think so. I think I'm finally understanding, because I was like, well, what is this about Cade being a beautiful boy? He's just good looking, so what? Like, what's going on? But I think, yeah, I think I'm getting the deeper situation behind it. I think I'm getting the deeper, yeah? Love you! I think I'm getting the deeper situation behind it. I think. I do wonder why they wasn't more worried about Jill not turning up. I had it in my mind that she was definitely going to be dead in this scene, but I guess not. That's not to rule out that she won't be though. I feel like she might be the next victim. We'll find out. Oh my goodness gracious me, I cannot believe that Jill is the murderer. I remember Jack, okay, I'm sort of casting my mind back and I can remember Jack saying that she needs to make sure that she's checking on Jill because she will lash out or something if people are mean to her. And then she said how she sleepwalks. Is she possibly sleepwalking doing this? Oh my god, I don't know. So I've only got like really a few pages left, so I'm going to finish them off in the bedroom just because I can focus, because my other half has put on an audiobook, which is nice, so he's just listening to that and playing a game. And I want to be able to concentrate like fully, focus fully on the last few pages. But I am this is such a good book so far, and I think it's definitely a series I am going to adore. So I've just finished it, and wow, I wasn't expecting it. Well, I didn't have any expectations on how it would end, but I certainly wasn't expecting Jack to be able to cut open a doorway back into their world, and that if she'd have known, I just don't understand why she didn't act on it sooner. But I guess plot, story, I enjoyed it so much so that I'm not going to let that bother me. But there are things like, why didn't she try and reanimate Sumi or Lundy, because she says like it works better the fresher the corpses really. But why didn't she try? I don't know. But yeah, I wasn't expecting Nancy to be able to go through her doorway. I guess she just kind of had to, well, read Sumi's words and remember that, you know, she can make her own story end how she wants it to play out, you know. And that was actually quite a nice message in the way, but I feel like this loss, because I'm like, there's no goodbyes in this story. Everyone just walks away and disappears, and I'm like, gosh, I know they may not be like proper friends or acquaintances, but they helped you out throughout this time. They made your time a little bit more easier. I just wish they would have had like bye-byes and like, I'm off, see you later. But yeah, I'd be interested to see if we know more about Nancy later on in the book. I assume now the second book is Jack and Jill's story, and I think it is, I keep saying this, but I think it is a prequel, isn't it? But it would be nice to know what happens once they return, like how we saw at the end of this book, what happens when they go back to that world. But we probably won't get that, maybe. I reckon it's just going to focus on the now and then what it was like in their worlds for their characters and such. But this was a great introduction to this world. I adored it. Probably a 4-star read for me, so I am going to go and start the second book now, and I'll update you guys with my thoughts. Hi guys, so I have done all my morning duties. When I say that, I usually mean poop. So I am, that's not what I meant this time. I mean, look, I've cleaned the flat and stuff. So I'm going to crack on with some more Down Among the Sticks and Bones. I haven't popped on with this cover yet, but I started it last night. We were watching like a couple of horror films and stuff, so I was kind of reading this on and off. Again, these are books that people usually read in one sitting, but I keep finding other distractions for some reason. But it doesn't mean I'm not enjoying it. I read a lot, but I struggle to read. That is so strange. Reading is one of my main hobbies, so I read it, I do it quite often, but I struggle if I know I can finish a book in one sitting. I end up finding distractions to stop that. I don't know, I guess subconsciously I want it to last longer than it could do, perhaps, I don't know. But yeah, so this is the prequel. I know I've said that so many times in this vlog, and it's following Jack and Jill's world and where they ended up and the sort of place the Moors is, which is really interesting. So we had like the beginning of their life, how their parents kind of treated them, which was horrible, and then how they stumbled through this chest and ended up in the Moors. So I have, like, when I last put it down, we had just entered that world, so I'm about to continue on and see what it's about, and all the characters. I was mixing creatures and characters together. All the characters that they're about to meet in that. I don't think I'm going to get to the third book just because it is Sunday now, and I'm probably not going to get to the third book. I might carry it over to Monday possibly, just to have a bit of unity so I can have a chance to finish the third book, but we'll see. It'll be an extra long weekend reading vlog, we'll find out. So yeah, I'm just going to crack on with this and get some more of this read before lovely other half joins me and gives me distractions. That sounded weird. I just mean like talking, watching TV together, making breakfast together, that sort of stuff, even though it is like afternoon time, going up to 1. Yeah, I'll catch you in a little bit.
Gravity.
excited to see that there are illustrations in this one, and I think from her biography that I read in the end of the last book, which I assumed in this one, she does illustrations and stuff as well, so I wonder if this is one of her designs. And I flicked through, that's the cat going berserk. I think there might be another illustration, but I don't know. But it's really pretty. I hope she does more of these in the books to come. Okay, so I absolutely love how they've mentioned like periods being a thing, because oftentimes you find in like fantasy novels that never is mentioned. I'm thinking, how are these characters, these female characters, going about doing epic things and stuff and not taking care of their menstrual health? You know what I mean? Like sometimes that's not even the point, but it'd be nice every now and then just to have a little bit more like realism, down to earth. Like, periods come, I can still be badass and awesome, but I also need to take care of my sanitary situation, you know? So I kind of like the fact that they mentioned how they coped with that and what they did and stuff, and how it kind of sparked the change of like the major events in their life going completely different ways, which was interesting. I also like the fact that we've got a very kind of classic, almost Dracula story at one side of the wall, and on the other side we've got like the mad scientist kind of Frankenstein and his monster situation. And I think I remember in the last book one of the characters said that one of the kids had gone to a sort of Hammer horror film world, and I'm kind of guessing that's these two that went to that sort of world now, and I'm pretty sure there's been like references to this kind of movie black and white grey kind of old school vibe going on. So I think that's pretty cool, pretty unique to include that as its own like world. Yeah, and I love the fact that we're learning more about like the characters as their own, because I feel like a lot of the time when twins are written into a story, they're the twins, do you know what I mean? Like sometimes that works, but I'd imagine that if I was a twin I wouldn't want to be referred to as the twin all the time. Like they're individual people, and the fact that in their home, like the original home, their parents and that, they were kind of moulded into these shapes that did not fit them at all and referred to as things that they were not. I think now that we're able to be in this world, they can choose their own fate and kind of go about how they prefer to carry themselves. That is very, very iconic. I like that. I love that for them. Yeah, I am really enjoying it so far. I think I prefer the first book to this one, just because originally this cover, although I think it's really cool, it's very dark and bleak, and I didn't think I'd enjoy what the story held, and the story is very dark and bleak as well, but I'm enjoying it more than I expected. Yeah, I enjoyed the kind of new, fresh beginnings of the world, which is still very new and fresh, but the beginnings, learning about the schools and stuff that the first book offered. So this will probably either get like a 4-star rating or maybe like a 3.5, but it's still a very enjoyable journey. So I'm just going to carry on reading that. I just want to update you guys with some thoughts that are floating around in my head right now. I'm back again. I think I remember Jack saying in the first book that she wasn't interested in the dead like that unless they were resurrected, and I remember at the time thinking that's really creepy, that's weird, but now it kind of makes sense if I remember correctly, because her and Alexis are a thing. And when she was like resurrected, she was like, wow, you're beautiful. And now they're an item. So I guess that sentence was a kind of little Easter egg for things to come, or I guess past things really, because this technically is like before the first book in that sort of event. Anyway, I'm gonna stop now, it's getting confusing. I've had an evening bath and I've washed my hair and everything, so I look a little bit different. Less hair, but it's more compacted into a, you know, a down style. But I've just finished Down Among the Sticks and Bones, and this was really, really good. I did enjoy it. I did say earlier on today that I think I preferred the first book a little bit more, so I did end up giving this 3.5 stars. But that leading up to the ending, I cannot believe what Jill did. Like that was psychotic in my opinion, and I don't know how Jill, no sorry, did I say Jack? I meant Jill, what she did. And I don't know how Jack managed to be the better person and kind of get her to safety when the villagers and everything were like going against her, and that, you know, considering the fact that Jill had just murdered her loved one, you know what I mean? Like, The only thing is now, I can't imagine. Sorry, my boyfriend's playing like, I think The Last of Us, and he's killing some like zombie people. Anyway, I can't imagine that they'd get a very welcome return, because obviously in the end of the last book, they went back through to their world. So I don't know how it's gonna be. I wonder if we get a little insight in that. I think I mentioned earlier in the vlog that it'd be cool to see the return, if you know what I mean. But yeah, on to the next book now. I really did enjoy this one. I'm loving this series so far. I probably keep repeating myself. I apologize. Good morning, it is Monday, so yes, I officially decided to carry on this weekend reading vlog into Monday. So hopefully I get this finished, but if not, I will probably just leave it at that so that I can edit it hopefully tonight, maybe tomorrow. And then you guys will just have to look into my Goodreads or wait for my wrap up to see what I thought of this book, because I probably will finish it this month. So I've got a little bit of makeup on today just because I wanted to put a little bit of makeup on. Really, no rhyme or reason to it. I started Beneath the Sugar Sky late last night, so I'm only currently on chapter 2, which is page 27. So didn't read an awful lot. I think I might be burning myself out, but I'm gonna try and persevere. What else? Yeah, so this one, I kind of assumed it would be about Sumi, but knowing that the second book was the prequel, I can understand how this would be a prequel, because it's every other book that's a prequel, right? Which I know I keep saying. So I was like, how can this be about Sumi if Sumi was murdered in the first book? But they've done it in a really weird way, where it's Sumi's daughter has come back from the world that she's from. It just sounds really wacky, but I'm here for it, and I want to know the lore. There might not even be any lore, because, you know, worlds are on a lore unto themselves, but I'm interested to find out how this happens. I've just got to the part where this girl's fallen from the sky, who I'm assuming is Sumi's daughter. It's got to be confirmed or whatever. And we've also got some new characters that we're meeting. Cora, I believe, who's only like a couple of weeks into the new school. She was a mermaid. She went to a mermaid world, which is pretty cool. I love anything mermaid related. Anything like that is amazing to me. And yeah, it'd be interesting to see their journey and to understand how this girl can possibly be Sumi's daughter. So I was saying previously how I would like to know how things turn out when characters went back to their worlds, and we're kind of getting that now with Nancy, because they need to go to the Halls of the Dead to try and figure out Sumi's like ghost path to try and put her back together again. This is a very interesting plot situation, nonsensical circumstance. I'm liking it. Okay, so they are in the Halls of the Dead with Nancy, and they've just managed to get back the ghost of Sumi. But the catch is one of them has to stay, so it could be Christopher for obvious reasons, because it's like the closest to his world and he feels quite comfortable there, but it's also not his world and he'll never see his skeleton girl again. Or it could be Nadja, because their Lady of Death, or whatever her name is, has seen her watery drowned world, and she said that they kind of run across the borders, although she can't open it there. Maybe Nadja would think she'll be able to get there somehow. I reckon it's Christopher that's going to stay. I think that's his name. That makes sense. I'm nearly done. I've just got to go help with dinner. But there was one part where Cora was asking so many questions, like logical questions in this world of nonsense. And Cade had already mentioned that worlds sometimes push each other out. So, or push people they don't want in there out. So I was like, girl, you better stop asking questions, because you're going to get pushed out before this quest is over. And I was really worrying that shit was going to go down. But yeah, I've got like a few pages left to say. There was one other thing I wanted to say, but I cannot remember. Yeah, I was just basically worried that, well, it still might happen, I don't know, but she stopped asking her questions, but they're all questions that I would want to know, so it kind of helped, but I was nervous at the same time. I have just finished Beneath the Sugar Sky, which I think I'm definitely going to be giving a 4 stars. I absolutely adored it. It was really, really good. I do find though with these books, I feel like the reason I'm not giving them a full 5 stars is because I have a slight detachment. I don't know if it's because I was reading them so back to back that I was sort of gazing over the words every now and then and had to kind of come back to them. and I was sort of burning myself out, but I'm absolutely loving the worlds, the characters, the understanding of the whole stories, and magical, absolutely magical. So that is the first 3 books of the Wayward Children series done. I completely am holding them in the wrong order, from that side to this side, that side to this side. They're all read. I will definitely be purchasing the other books in this series, and I'd love to check out some more of this author's works, even as she's written as Mara Grant, who I recognise the name. I feel like there's a book cover in my head that I'm seeing, but I can't remember the title. Adored it. That is concluding this reading vlog, and also my isolation vlog for the other 3 days. Yes, I am going back to work Wednesday. Today's Monday. I'm ending this vlog on Monday. So yeah, I had so much like fun just escaping into these worlds, like so different, so like just focusing on other people's other characters, like dramas and adventures and stuff, was just what I needed, to be honest. So yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this vlog, and I'll speak to you in another one soon. Bye.
Say goodbye.